as parents have staged a protest at Bishop Bavin School in Bedfordview. At the same time, protests also continue at Pretoria High School for Girls. The pupils there say the school's code of conduct is still oppressive. To get some reaction, we're joined on the line by Gauteng Education Department spokesperson Steve Mabona. Very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. Parents up in arms at Bishop Bavin School in Bedfordview, speaking about how they've committed their finances in terms of paying school fees up front, and now hearing of the immediate closure of the school. What is your reaction to that?
Thank you very much. It's quite sad what is happening at that school. We received news last week already about the imminent closure, and we actually had to, establish a task team. MEC had to send people to go and interact with the school. There was a meeting even on Sunday where we were interacting with the school just to find a mechanism to intervene. And unfortunately, the school can't be saved because of the financial constraints that they have already tabled, to say actually it was about 10% of parents that were paying at that school, so they can't be afloat. So it means the school is closing, yes, but what we have agreed upon is to accommodate the grade 12s in some of the schools that we have quickly identified. They will be accommodated there, and there's other schools in the neighboring area that have opted to assist, the parents to can accommodate the learners. So at the ultimate end, we should be in a position to assist parents by making sure that they are accommodated in the other schools. It's just unfortunate for those that might have paid, upfront. We would try to assist them as well on how they then will then recoup the money, because the issue here, it's about finances. So if the school says they have a challenge of finances, then probably it will be a challenge for those parents to get their money, but we'll assist them.
I know that you're normally able to assist and work hand in hand with some private and independent schools. Did you not see this situation coming regarding Bishop Bavin?
No, until such time a school will indicate to the department that we have a challenge. It will be difficult. You'll understand that we have so many of your independent and private schools, and we monitor their existence and make sure that they are on board in terms of their registration process. But sometimes it becomes difficult because of the resources. We can't reach all of them at all times. So if a school does not inform us that they have a challenge, it becomes difficult for us as a department to can detect that there is such a school probably there's a financial constraint. Because remember, not all schools are subsidized by us. Mm-hmm. There are those that would have applied for that subsidy and they will meet the requirements and they will be subsidizing them. So some of these independent schools, they are not being subsidized because of probably not meeting, the requirements.
And you speak about how you will ensure that learners are accommodated by other schools. When can that process begin? Because a lot of the parents here are concerned as their children are in grade 7.
Meetings are going ahead. Like as I said, there was a meeting on Sunday. There will be subsequent meetings as well, just to make sure that we finalize the process. But it's a priority that learners must be accommodated. That is our priority. That's why we are saying where we see lack of learning, we are quite concerned because we've lost so much curriculum time. So that is our priority. We are working tirelessly to make sure that those learners are accommodated. We will be interacting with the relevant parents on what is it that they need to do in terms of the next step moving forward. But as a department, we are quite convinced that we should be in a position to assist them.
As we speak, there is another resurgence of a problem at the Pretoria High School for Girls. Protests continuing there. Learners saying the code of conduct is still oppressive. I mean, we learnt of the oppression and we saw the movement gaining momentum internationally in terms of the hair policy. What do you know about that situation and what are you doing about it?
But honestly, remember in 2016, the girls there raised an issue of, the oppression we're talking about. The Department of Basic Education assisted us as the Gauteng to say, let's have a team that is going to assist you at that school. And that team, did wonders. They met with the SGB, with the parent body, went through the process of, recrafting the code of conduct. Because remember, the code of conduct is a replica of what parents would want to see in the school. Mm-hmm. If parents say our children must, in terms of demeanor, they must behave in this fashion, that's how they need to be behaving. So the code of conduct was recrafted, was amended. What we see now here, it's new elements of issues that are being raised. And we have sent a team actually to the school yesterday and this morning to interact with the learners, and the SGB is there now to say, how do we move forward in terms of attending to some of the issues that are being raised. But for an example, one issue that is being raised by the learners is the issue of late coming. They say there must not be any punishment for some learners that are coming late at school. I mean, really, it's unbelievable. Late coming is an issue, and we have raised it. I mean, you cannot allow learners to come late at the school, then they will be probably, disturbing other learners. So that cannot be tolerated. But the introduction of isiZulu at the school, which is one, among others, the things that they are demanding, you need a parent body to decide on that, because they will also look at the numbers. Are the numbers permitting them to introduce a language? Most of the schools in Tshwane, they don't do isiZulu, they will do Sepedi because of the number of learners that will then be accommodated there. But also, it's important to look at the numbers. And they're talking about introduction of an HOD of isiZulu. You can't have an HOD of isiZulu because you don't even have isiZulu at the school. So you need to make sure that you accommodate all other subjects.
Steve, let's address the elephant in the room here. The fight against racism is really one of the issues that is being raised at the Pretoria High School for Girls. The matriculants protesting about that, saying that the school has not met their demands for racial equality. What do you have to say about that?
Like as I said, we have been saying everything that has been happening in terms of racism, it's amongst those that we raised in 2016, and the code of conduct and all other things that had to do with racism, they were addressed then. So if there are new issues that are happening, we have encouraged learners that let's table them, let's make sure that we attend to them. That's why we have sent our officials to the school to say, let's not disrupt schooling, let's focus on addressing what learners will then be raising. But they are saying some of the things that were raised in 2016, probably they are not satisfied because MEC did not come back to report to them to say this is how we have dealt with the issues. But we are saying you can't expect an MEC to come back. Meanwhile, the MEC has already sent a team that was working on all the issues that we have raised, and they managed to interact with the parents, and parents were happy with what is happening there. Because remember, it was not only learners that were complaining, including parents. Parents were supporting their children to say, yes, indeed, some of these things are happening here. We are tired. They must be, ended. And that's how we then managed to intervene in 2016. So now, because of now the new wave of probably what happened in America, then it came back there. But the issue of hair policy, that was attended to. I mean, there's no one that is discriminated against because of hair in that school. Because that is, in the code of conduct is quite clear that you cannot discriminate and you cannot chase a child away because of hair, and all those other elements were addressed. But we said, let's look at the new issues that they've raised, which they need to be attended. But we discourage any disruption. Let learners go back in the classroom and focus on the curriculum, because we have lost so much in terms of the curriculum. So we need to recover that. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we will then be continuing to focus on the issues that are being raised by the learners.
Thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Basic Education Department spokesperson Steve Mabona speaking to the concerns being raised at the Pretoria High School for girls, as well as the closure of Bishop Bavin School in Bedfordview.